Hey, BassGeek here, and February starts a major transition from winter to spring. Here's what you need to know to go out and catch some fish no matter what the temperatures are. That's right, geeks. Listen, February for me starts a major transition. We start to move from wintertime to the early spring, especially on the smallmouth lakes. Now, the largemouth tend to be a little bit behind, but we're out on the lake right now and the water temps are 45 degrees, depending on where you're at. We were down the lake and they were 46 earlier this morning. Now, what's great about February is you can have some warm fronts come rolling in like we've had over the past few weeks, and it gets those bass fired up and biting. So what do you need to use when that happens? And what sucks about February is that you can still have some major cold fronts roll in and push those bass back to their winter homes. What do you need to do when that happens? Well, let me show you what my favorite baits for February are. So as the water starts to warm and those spring rains come in and they bring some warmer water temps even still, and they dirty up the backs of the creeks, maybe even the main lakes, some flat areas, this bait is absolutely the one I'm going to grab. This bait can be fished really fast. It can be yo-yoed. It can be almost Carolina rig, just dragged on the bottom. He can do a lot of different things, and there's a lot of different good ones out on the market that I love to use, and that is a lipless crankbait. And one of my all-time favorites has to be the Strike King Red Eye Shad. Booyah makes a great one, actually a couple of great ones in the hard knock and the loud knock. It's hard to beat the Bill Lewis rattle trap. Another great one that I love so much is from Azuma, and it's called I believe the Hard Knock. Now, all the links to these baits will be in the description. And if you geeks don't mind, if you're going to shop with Tackle Warehouse, make sure you go and use these links. Be sure to bookmark a link so you can help this channel out. It just helps us pay the boat payment, put some gas in the boat and the truck, that sort of thing. Buy Mike's beer and wings so that I can pay him sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But I love the Azuma because it's actually a 3/4 ounce in a 1/2 ounce body. So that thing's amazing. And one that I've really been playing with here lately, especially on the clear bodies of water that I fish, is the Sergeant in the 1/2 ounce, which is silent. A good silent trap in the spring when everybody else is throwing single knockers, hard knockers, BBs. It can really do some damage when the water is a little bit clearer. Not clear, but stained. That thing can do some damage. And that's definitely got to be the number 5 on the list. Next up, I love to fish these from medium depths, you know, that 14, 15, 16 foot range. Now that may not be medium to you guys, but it's pretty medium to us. All the way down to the 2 and 3 foot. You know, we're in the back of a creek right now and it's got some good color to it. And we noticed some fish, don't know what kind they are, on the live scope and on the down and side imaging back in here. So it'd be a great place to come back in here with some good fresh running water and start throwing some of these. Especially when we're talking about a cold front, some of the things that I love to throw is some crankbaits. Now again, there's all kinds of different types that I'll throw. I love the Bandit 100, 200, 300 series. These things are great this time of year. They got a good little wobble to them. You can't go wrong with a flat side at this time of year if you're in a little bit clearer water, got a little bit of chop, like the Little John from Spro. And that's one of my favorite colors this time of year, the spring crawl. Hard to beat a balsa wood bait. I've got a ton of them that runs different sizes. And again, a good flat bait. Then you've got your wide wobblers. As it warms up, you can burn them, but I love to just tick the rocks, count rocks with these, like the rock crawler from Spro. And don't count out the good old wiggle wart. So crankbaits have absolutely got to be number 4 on the list. I love to power fish this time of year. You'll notice we're going to talk about a lot of hard baits. The next bait, this thing is great all through the winter, and it is great all through the spring. And a lot of people miss out throwing it, in my opinion, after the spawn. So post spawn, even into summer, this bait can be deadly depending on the lake that you're on. And the particular one that I have in my hand right now is one that is literally brand new to the market. So you want to show them something different, you need to show them this bait right here. And I've been having a lot of fun out here with this bait actually today. This is the new flash shad from Booyah, but it's the deep diver. So this thing has just come out. What I love about it, it's got a cast system in it, and it comes in a ton of different colors. I don't remember the color of this, but again, links will be in the description. It's got a little blade in the top of it, and that does two things. It really gives it a target for those bass to key in on. Gives it some great flash, as you can see in the underwater footage, but it also reflects some forward facing sonar, so you can really see this bait. It is super bright coming back to you. So the flash point is something that you really need to check out in both the shallow and the deep diver. My other favorite jerkbait has got to be the Megabass Vision 110 plus one, and the standard, but the plus one junior. The junior version of these baits are incredible. They come in a ton of different sizes, and this is a color on clear water I have caught a ton of bass on, and this is just matte shad. Wish more companies would come out with matte colors like this, and just a super natural, even the bill itself, it's not translucent. It's got this kind of matte color to it that blends in with the bait. But this, you'll notice, and I do this on a lot of my baits, I'll put some suspend dots, especially the baits like the flash point that really nose down when you're working them. You can put a couple of suspend dots on there and get it to just slowly sink, so you can get them down to some pretty super deep depths. But again, this is the Megabass 110 plus one junior. So jerkbaits, absolutely my number 3 favorite bait on the list. So next up, we have got to talk about one of my all-time favorite rigs to throw. This thing calls bass up from a mile away. It's great in clear water, it's great in dirty water. It's a rig that's so good, it's been outlawed. So what is it? It's gotta be an A-rig. And there's a ton of different ones that I like. Now, this is from Stealth Lures. This is a little bit on the pricey side, but I really, really like it. It's really great in clear water. I don't know exactly what it's made out of. Somebody said maybe it's like fluorocarbon, but it's super clear, and I've been playing around with it, and so far I like it a lot. Another good clear one, and they have a lot of different sizes and shapes, and this would be a great one for you bank anglers to throw. I believe this is by Tornado Baits. Again, links will be in the description for everything, but it's super small, incredibly finesse, but you can do a lot of different stuff with it. It's got a swivel right here, so you're not going to get a lot of line twist out of it, which I like a lot. But again, this is made with the clear material, so it's super, super subtle. I haven't got to fish this one yet, but I can't wait to give it a whirl. Next up, this one is from Bass Dope Lures. Again, another incredible little bait. Like I said, there's a ton of them out there. I like the wire. It seems like it's going to be a good heavy duty A-rig. Big Daddy Baits makes the Dayton boat dock and the baby version of this one of my favorites right here. The good thing about Big Daddy's, it's super durable. It's made for those big bass down on Lake Chickamauga. I don't know. Never can say that right. Now, probably my go-to, probably the one that if I'm picking up an A-rig and I'm throwing and have thrown it for years, it's probably going to be the Umbrella or some form of it, Flash Mob Junior, or, you know, just the Umbrella. But the Flash Mob Junior is probably the be-all end-all go-to A-rig for me. It just gets the job done. But an A-rig has got to be number 2 in February for me. By the way, geeks, see these things right here? You can get them off Amazon, super cheap. And if you're throwing an A-rig, you absolutely want some of these to keep them from getting tangled up in every other rod you have. There's a link in the description. It does help the channel out. Go check them out. These are the same exact thing that everybody else wants to overcharge you for. They work great, but they're super cheap. You can get like 20. I don't even know what the cost is, but super cheap compared to a lot of the other ones. And it's the same exact stuff. Go check them out. Speaking of things you need to go check out, all right, geeks, it is boat buying season. I know a lot of guys are going out right now. They're buying boats, they're upgrading their boats, they're trading boats. And one thing you need to be cognitive of, one thing you need to make sure is that you get the right boat insurance. And the right boat insurance for me for years has been Boaters Insurance Agency. That's all they do is boats. And they cover some of the biggest names in tournament fishing. So they know what you need, unlike a lot of those bundled package all-in-ones that give you a discount. But let me give you an example. Got my buddy Mike back here. If we're out here fishing and he brings his stuff on board, do you know if his stuff is covered? Because I do. I know my policy covers Mike and all Mike's electronics and all Mike's tackle and baits. It's going to pay him if some sort of disaster happens. So you need to make sure that you're not going to have to come out of pocket for your buddy's gear. Check out Boat Insurance Agency. Tell them BassGeek sent you. Get a free quote. Now I think because of forward-facing sonar, this setup has got a bad name, but we've used it for years on the lakes that I've fished. And as a matter of fact, there's an incredible video that I'll link at the end of this that'll show you how to use this in the wintertime when you don't have forward-facing sonar. It's pretty incredible how many different ways you can use this and how many different ways it has been used over the years. From swim baits to minnow baits, to gulp minnows, to grubs. This little setup is pretty incredible. And it's gotta be number one on my list, and that's gotta be a jig head minnow. This is one of my favorite heads. This is by Angler Tungsten. They make a lot of different sizes, and I love the eyes on it. It is a tungsten head, so it's gonna get a great return if you do have forward-facing sonar. And then next, you can use a ton of different minnows on it. And you can do a lot of different things. Like I said, make sure you check that video out at the end of this, because we show you a ton of ways to fish this little bait without forward-facing sonar. We've done it for years. We've caught a ton of big bass on it. Now, I'll show you some of my favorite little minnows to throw on this bait. One of them has got to be the good old Damiki Armor Shad. I mean, this is a staple when it comes to that little ball head jig. One of my favorite colors to throw has got to be good old American Shad. Now, a bait that's really shined for me and seemingly some of the toughest times over the past really 2 years has been this, but it was originally designed to be a drop shot bait. This is the Hot Shot by Exxon Lures. This is one of the colors that I really enjoy throwing, and this is just Ghost Shad. And I gotta give a shout out to my local bait maker, Ramsey Baits. He makes an incredible 3-inch version. Love this color. It's one of my favorite colors in any baits. It's kind of that ghost minnow kind of bait. Love this bait. Got a little bit of a gray back, a little bit of a translucent belly, but a good looking little clear water shad color. And if you haven't been throwing these, I don't know where the heck you've been, because they are money. And that is the Yum FFS Minnow. This has become one of my favorite during the spring. This is the Houdini Shad. I love it. It's got a dark but translucent back. It's got some really good flake in it, and it's got a good translucent belly. And you know, last but not least, when it comes to these baits, the 3-inch is a good place to start, but I'm telling you, don't be afraid to throw some of the 5 and 6-inch versions that are out there, especially like the Damiki armor shad in 5-inch. I can't tell you, sometimes this bigger bait has really paid off for us when the bass are feeding on bigger bait fish. All right, geeks, so that should help you no matter what happens in February where you're at. I'll accept maybe some of you guys up north that's still frozen over. You know, drill a hole, maybe try and drop an A-rig down it. Who knows, it might work. I don't know. I ain't never done it. But, you know, we'll see. Anyway, but these are my favorite baits to throw. They may not be, or they may be the best baits for you to throw, but I love to go do that this time of year. And we've already caught a bunch of fish on a bunch of these baits today, and it's February. Now, if you want to check out how to fish a jig head minnow without forward-facing sonar, make sure you go check this video right here out. Otherwise, questions, comments in the comment section below. You geeks know I love to talk fishing with you. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure you ring that bell so you get those notifications. You geeks rock.